this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. Well, we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are week 126, would you believe? Yeah, I say this every week, but yeah, I can't believe how quick it flies. So we're week 126. For those people who haven't watched really my channel before, we are doing reruns. So we're rerunning week 26. So it's now week 126. Obviously, we had 100 weeks and we're now rerunning through them. So today we are making skinny flip down pullouts with a kind of mini paper pad inside them. So what you're going to need if you want to craft along and make some of these in a mass making kind of style, you're going to need some papers. Now you can bring along scraps and things. You're going to want long, thin bits, if you see what I mean. So if you've got tiny scraps like squares, they're not going to be any good. They need to be tallish and slimish. So this one, for instance, I will probably trim this in half lengthways, and I would make two from this. Of course, you can bring along whole sheets and then cut them down to suit your projects. So I've got lots of whole sheets here. I've got some bits and pieces, you know, of scraps. I've got some that, you know, my printer's not really printed properly, where I've kind of tried to set borderless and, you know, then it's chopped the borders off and things like that. And then I've got, you know, some also scrapbook paper kind of scraps as well from 12 by 12 pads. So that's your basics for your, or bases for your pad, you know, the outside folder. Then what you're going to need is some paper to make your little flippy pads inside. Of course, you could do this at a later stage. You don't have to do this all in one, you know, one go. But I would use kind of copy paper thickness for this, not really any thicker. You can use obviously fly sheets from books and things. You could use kind of decorative papers on one side, plain on the other. You know, just mix it up and yeah, just bring along kind of a variety of just thin things basically that you could make some kind of flippy pads. So again, I'm being really ambitious. I don't know how many I think I'm going to be doing, but I've brought along a whole wad of stuff here. And then what you're going to need is some small bits to use as your closures for your, you know, they're kind of like a, I heard them described once, I think it was on Kelly Snow, I think, her channel, described them as those chewing gum kind of packets, like mechanism. So that's exactly what you're doing. And so what you're going to do is, you know, want some little bits and pieces, smallish, that you can use as your little clasps and closures. Now for that, you could use anything at all. You could use like a butterfly, you could use, you know, stamp images. I think in the last time that I did this, I did kind of use stamped images quite a bit. You know, any form of like little toppery type pieces would be suitable for this. You could probably even get away with using the bows. Yeah, just kind of like try out things really and see, you know, see what you like best. I mean, for instance, if you've got some vintage photographs, you might be able to kind of like punch an oval shape and use that type of thing as your closures. But just, you know, just mix it up and see what, yeah, what happens basically. So in the last time that I did this, I did actually kind of decorate these as well as making them. And the reason being was because I put the closures on. So I will probably do that again today. We'll just kind of see how we get on really, I think. So I'm going to start just with this one because this just, you know, happens to be a long skinny piece completely already. And I'm just going to show you the basic, you know, item that we're going to be making. So you're going to want something that's either double-sided or you may want to kind of ink the inside. You know, otherwise it's going to be kind of stark white. But, you know, if that doesn't bother you, then that's fantastic. So this one here is not as tall as I would have liked, if you see what I mean. This is like an A4 sheet, you know, from the side, if that makes sense. So, you know, if I'm making these, you know, to choose my scraps, I would choose longer than this, but you know, we're going with kind of what we've got. So I'm just going to kind of make do with this. So just to show you that hopefully, you know, you can kind of make these with, you know, pretty much whatever scraps that you've got to hand. So all you're going to do is take your long thin piece and then you're just going to fold it over. And then what you're going to do is fold your top down, but not so it's butt up against there, if you see what I mean. So you've got like a little space there. Now, again, I don't measure or anything. So the only way I could kind of describe this really is your bottom piece, you're probably going to want to take it kind of like, you know, leaving a third-ish, you know, roughly a third showing, if you see what I mean. So you're going to take this up kind of like, so as you have a third left, not folded. And then once you've folded that, you're going to take this piece that's left and you're just going to fold it down just enough so that you've got kind of like a section here that's obviously, you know, overlapping, if you see what I mean, and a section here that's blank, or, you know, that's empty. And then of course this piece was not very straight in the first place, so I'm just going to go down and just trim this now like that. Okay, right. And then actually let me just move these off so it's not quite so cluttered here, you know, to watch. And then all you're going to do is take some of your fly sheet or your, you know, your copy paper, whatever it is that you've brought along to kind of make your flippy pads. So I'm going to take this one. It's just a sheet of fly sheet, you know, from a book. And I could probably, yeah, I'm going to just tear that down like that. And then I might mix that in with maybe a sheet of coffee dyed paper. So just get my sheet of coffee dyed paper and again, just kind of like fold it in roughly, you know, so it's going to fit basically inside your little flip down like that. Okay, and just going to cut that down. I mean, at this point, I could probably like concertina right the way along this page and then just do it, you know, cut it in bulk would probably be the fastest way to do this. So I might do that when we get properly mass making, but at the moment, I'm just obviously showing you, you know, how to make them in the basic way of how to make them. So that's your little flippy pad there. Just going to take that across and then just trim this down here like that. Okay, so we've got a couple of sheets there that are going to fit inside our piece. Now I'm going to use my stapler. Also, that's another thing that you're going to need is stapler and glue, scissors. I got waylaid with the huge bundle of papers and things. So yeah, I do apologise for that. So just trim that down slightly more. It needs just coming off slightly on the length of it. And then that's going to just glue into my piece. So just going to, I will hot glue this because again, you know, I just really like to do quick and easy when you're doing a video, especially, is really good. So just kind of take that up, you know, approximately to your crease that's there. And that's your little book then, or, you know, your outer casing, I suppose, for your book. And then all you're going to do is take something to have as a closure. So let's just see whether I've got anything here that I could use. So this is my King Street papers from my shop, and yeah, I think what I might do, they're probably a bit small, those labels actually. Perhaps I'll use something like this kind of ticket, although that might be a bit wide actually. Oh well, we'll see what it looks like. If it's too wide, I shall obviously have to pick something else. So cut that down. Yeah, I mean, just experiment with what, you know, what you fancy having as your closure. But anything that's, I mean, basically, you know, I would say the rule is going to be solid, you know, i.e. not copy paper, you know, because it's going to have a fair bit of, you know, movement because you're going to be using this basically to tuck your piece into. So if I use that, for instance, and maybe I would have a little flower on there. I mean, I'm not sure that this is quite the right piece, to be honest, but hey, let's go for it. And then to just add some more decorative kind of interest to that, you could always put some lace down. So I'll just take my whole ticket piece there and pop some lace on there. Just, you know, I'm just doing this for no other reason other than to kind of, you know, add decorative interest really. But, you know, of course, sort of, you know, do what you fancy doing on yours. So just cut that out very roughly, and then take my piece, and it will just glue on there like a closure. Now, the easiest way that I find to actually glue this is find how, you know, where it's lined up, sort of thing. And then what I do is I tuck the piece in, and I hold the piece I'm going to be gluing clamped onto the bit that I'm going to be tucking in, if that makes sense, because that will give you a guide for where you want your glue. So I know that my glue then can go right up to that area, you know, and I'm still going to have room to tuck it in. So like that. Okay. Like that. And then that just tucks in there like that. And then the whole thing just obviously folds down to open out. So obviously this isn't quite ideal because that glue's not really dry by that lace. So I'm not going to tuck that in because otherwise that's just going to get stuck on there. But, you know, hopefully you get the idea. So that's that. So let's do another one, and I will talk you through another one. I mean, obviously they couldn't really be any easier. So, you know, I probably don't really need to kind of waffle on for too long. So I'm going to take this one, which my printer has, you know, messed up. And I'm just going to, oops, cut out. I mean, actually I've done this way, way, way too skinny. So my goodness, I'm going to have like the skinniest one on the planet now. It's just like one extreme to the other. But this is a better length, so even if I did make it way too skinny in terms of height. So you're going to kind of want it like this. Now I'm going to just get rid of this little bit here. It's got some black lines from the printer. It just, you know, would drag marks. My printer tends to do that if it doesn't like the thickness of the paper. Not only does it not necessarily print to the edges, i.e., you know, that's why I've got that weird huge border at one end, but also it does make those drag marks. And then what I'm going to do is obviously just tuck this down or bring this down again like that. And these are my prairie papers. And then I'm just going to cut that down. Now, obviously, because I have made this very, very, very skinny, I could do with probably cutting that edge down a bit more because it's got that white border from the printing. But I'm not going to because, you know, like I say, I've cut it very skinny already. So I'm just going to ink up around there. Again, I'll just ink up around the whole thing because I would tend to use these tucked into a pocket rather than, you know, necessarily glued down to a page. But of course, you know, completely up to you, again, how you use these. So again, just go around the whole thing because this is not double-sided. So, you know, I'm not keen on having that stark white on the inside. So I'll just ink all around the whole thing. Like that. Okay. Like that. Now, again, you can obviously add your own twist. You can kind of round corners and things like that. So I'm just going to round the corners of my little flap. Like that. I mean, you could edge this in gold and things, you know, really kind of go to town and just make it your own and do, you know, how you think this would look good. So there we have that. I'm just going to have a look through. So these are some little circles that I've got in my shop, circle toppers. So I have got a vintage set. No, not that one. Oh, I was only using these yesterday and now, of course, they're completely buried on my desk with everything else. No. I have got, you know, launch video coming up of these, hopefully soon. So, yeah. Right, okay, here's some more. So I might do, oh, I might do the chair. Do I want the chair? Yeah, I might do that chair. So just cut this one out. Oops. As you know, if you watch my channel, world's worst thing, cutting circles, just not good at all. My gosh, extra bad today. Oh, and I do apologise in advance. I'm having one of those silly fingers and thumbs weeks, actually. It's been lasting for a few days. Oh my goodness, it's so annoying. I mean, yesterday I was trying to do some stuff. I was like all over the place. Completely all over the place. Just, you know, dropping things. I smashed a glass. Oh, just rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Yeah. So, this one. Again, just like ink it round. I still don't know if that's quite the right one, to be honest. I might have been better off with this lady. I thought she was a bit blue. Let's just give her a try. Okay. Yeah, so the circle toppers, I've got floral ones or, floral ones or vintage ones. So these are things from the vintage ones. Okay. Oh, maybe the blue is better, yeah. So I'm just going to quickly ink that down there. Oh, how pretty is that? So, you know, again, I might just add some lace onto there just so, you know, it's got extra yumminess going on. And, you know, these are all just little things that are, you know, completely your choice of how you like things to look. I mean, I just really love lace. So for me, it's like, oh, to lace or not to lace? Obviously, it's going to be to lace. So, yeah. Let's just cut that down. Now, obviously, this is a circle, so I'm not trying to get the lace in a perfect circle, if you see what I mean, but I am trying to get it a little bit circular. So I've got the rest of that paper, obviously, that I can use now on the inside. I mean, that's a bit overkill there, but just fold up some more. I wonder if I might be able to get 3 strips. So let's see. Like that. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to tear it now because, of course, it will be, you know, it will be torn. Just cut this down on the side. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So, I mean, I tend to use kind of 3 or 4 sheets, depending, you know, on the thickness of the paper. Like I say, I mean, I am using copy paper thickness. But, you know, if you've mixed it, say, with fly sheet, you might find that some of your fly sheet pages are slightly thicker than others. So, you know, just vary it again according to, you know, how thick your paper is, how, you know, how bulky you want your piece to be. I mean, I kind of think it's going to tuck into a pocket, so you probably don't want it too bulky. But, you know, of course, it's your, you know, your choice. So I'll just go in slightly more. I forgot just how narrow I'd made this one. So I'm just going to tear off slightly more on the bottom. Okay, and then just glue this down here. Oops. Like that. Again, just kind of tucking it into, you know, or right by the crease there. And then, you know, you can cover that kind of staple part with some lace or some decorative papers or something if you want to. You know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I mean, if that's something that you find particularly you don't like, then of course, you know, do cover it. So again, what I'm going to do is just take my piece, clamp it here, so as I know roughly where to glue, and then just going to hot glue the whole thing down like that. Okay. Like that. And then again, my piece then just tucks, you know, it's tucking in basically between the back and the, you know, the tuck piece. Again, I'm not going to tuck that in for the minute because obviously that glue's still drying onto that lace, but super pretty, isn't it? And then you could always do something like, you know, maybe add a butterfly or something. So I'll just see whether I've got any here that might be, you know, that's quite a good colour. I know it is sparkly, which I wouldn't have necessarily chosen, but I don't mind it. So just ink that up a little bit. So these are those gorgeous Martha Stewart butterflies, which, I mean, I've had this punch for years. I don't know, to be fair, if they still do this punch, but I'm pretty sure you could probably still get it online. I know that, you know, I've talked about it loads of times, and, you know, I know that a few of you have bought it. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It's got that larger butterfly and the two small ones. The small ones are very small. I personally find them quite fiddly to use, but sometimes I do use them. Probably not a good idea today, as I'm having a really fiddly day, or, you know, fingers and thumbs day. But yeah, I mean, they're really pretty to like layer up and put the middle one, you know, put a smaller one in the middle. So that is all there is to these. So I'm going to stop talking you through the process, because obviously they're not particularly difficult to make. And I'm just going to get mass making some. Now, what I will probably do is try and do them, you know, in stages. So I might cut down, for instance, a load of papers, and then, you know, fold, make all the pads and do it like that. So I've got a bit of a methodical thing hopefully going on. So this is some of my Bird Rhapsody papers. So yeah, I'm going to use some of this. Again, it's some that my printer just kind of, you know, mucked up and didn't really get the borderless thing going quite on, but it will do. So this is some of my Victorian Florals. Can't remember whether this is set 2 or set 3. I can't remember. And then this one is from the Blue Baroque kit, and I'm just going to do, I think, a couple of different ones on this. So I might do that way, and then I might do one this way as well. You know, we'll just see how that kind of pans out. So yeah, and I do apologise, you know, if you're watching and thinking, oh, why is she just, you know, talking about the papers? I'm merely mentioning them because I know that lots of you really like to know which papers I'm using. So this again is from the King Street kit, which so was that first one that I made as well. So yeah, if you're wondering what that paper was, this is my cluttered collage page. So this I think would be quite nice for them, and so I might make a couple actually from here. Just wondering where would be like a good place to cut this. So I'm going to cut through those ladies, I think, and through those. Yeah, might do it like that. What else have I got here? Oh, I also have I have got my new Curators Collection papers, which hopefully I'm going to again do a launch of these, you know, coming up very soon, possibly even this weekend. We'll kind of have to see how it goes. I really need to get on and do my taxes this week, so it's that time of year where you have to kind of, you know, file your tax return. And yeah, I mean, talk about leave it to the last minute. It's one of those things that, you know, kind of, it's been on my radar for weeks, and here we are. I'm like literally the last week now and I need to do it. So I probably will go very quiet this week, and yeah, I probably won't even get time to actually do any videos, unfortunately. So yeah, right, just wondering, might do one here like this. So this is from my Rose Park kit. Yeah, I really can't, you know, can't bear it when I can't do any videos, because to be honest, when I then come back to you know, to start doing them again, I feel very bad anxiety. You know, it's surprising how quickly you just get out of doing things. And, you know, I mean, it sounds really sort of feeble, and, you know, I'm sure lots of you watching probably think, oh, well, how did you, you know, get out of it so quickly? But honestly, I mean, still don't feel like I've quite recovered from that couple of weeks that I had to take off, you know, to catch up with the divorce type stuff. You know, because it really, you get out of the zone, and then when you come back, you know, it just, it feels slightly unfamiliar, and yeah, it's quite difficult, I think, to get back to, to normal, you know, as in doing videos. You know, it goes back to that kind of alien sort of, you know, weird, like, oh, I feel weird now doing it. So yeah, unfortunately, because you know, I love doing videos so much, but yeah, it does kind of throw you if you just have like a little bit of a break, you know, for whatever reason. It's not quite so bad, I think, if you go on holiday, although I have experienced it when, you know, when going on holidays, that when I come back I feel kind of nervous. But definitely if I've got to break for any particular reason, you know, I definitely then find it a struggle, you know, picking back up and getting back into it, especially for some reason these mass making ones, because I know I've said this before, for me this feels a bit like a live, because I film these, you know, on the Monday to upload on the Tuesday. So to me this feels really like I'm here with you guys, you know, because I'm chatting about current stuff. And yeah, it's the most live-ish type thing that I do, I suppose. And yeah, these, for some reason, I'm still kind of feeling anxious following that couple of weeks off, you know, when I had to kind of take that break for the couple of weeks. So yeah, definitely takes a while to, you know, to pick back up. So I really would rather not have to not do any videos for this week. But yes, I really have got no choice. I must do it. So yeah, I need to kind of dig out receipts and all of that type of thing, and yeah, just knuckle down, do my Excel spreadsheet and try and get it done. So we'll see. Okay, right, let's just take a couple more, probably do yeah, perhaps just some coffee dyed colours, because I can't remember now what all the colours are of all the papers that I've got here. So I'll just try and be quick here and just, you know, concertina fold this down. Oh, so anyway, I hope that you guys are all doing brilliant. You know, hope your week's all started out well. Like I say, this is Monday morning for me. So yeah, my week's only just started. Obviously you guys are now, you know, a day into your week. So hopefully you've got some sort of feeling of how your week's going to pan out. Hopefully well, like I say. Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who watched my series of the 7 days of art journaling, and for all your lovely comments. I can't tell you how much I appreciate them, because, you know, the art journaling, I mean, that's, you know, that's something really different for me. So yeah, I really appreciate, you know, everybody's lovely kindness and you know, all of your really nice encouraging comments. So thank you so much, and really excited because lots of you did say that, you know, maybe you haven't tried art journaling before, but you're now feeling inspired to try some. So, you know, that's absolutely fantastic, and I can't tell you, you know, how thrilled I am when I kind of read things like that, because, you know, that's kind of what we're here for, isn't it? Sharing our love of crafting, and, you know, just hoping to spark some sort of inspiration for somebody, or yeah, hopefully several people. So to actually hear people say, you know, oh, I'm feeling inspired to give art journaling a go, oh, that just, yeah, really kind of makes my day. So thank you so much. And if you're going to do a bit of art journaling, you know, and you haven't done it before, oh, I just hope you have a blast. It's really lovely thing to do. You know, really, yeah, just really good fun. So this is obviously some 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. Obviously this, you know, this is a bit too long, so I'm just going to trim it down there. But, you know, again, it just depends how long you want your pieces. You know, there's no reason why they couldn't be the full length of the 12 by 12. Just for me, that just looked like it was a bit too long. But, you know, again, do what suits you best. So I'm just making a terrible job of the cutting again. Let's just take that and throw it in the bin. Okay. So let's take this one. So this one I just mucked up completely. I mean, look at how tall and skinny that is. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? But, oh well. I don't know quite what I was thinking with this, but never mind. It's still okay. I mean, it's still, yeah, workable-ish. But, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not not really what I was hoping for. I just overdid it with the trimming. So let's do a couple of these cluttered collage ones because, yeah, I think they're going to make really nice pieces. So probably needn't have even bothered cutting that like that, to be honest. I could have just probably done it after I've folded it all up. So like that, and then take the top down like that. Oh, so what have we been up to? Well, since last week, my son and I have been to the cinema 3 times, would you believe? So yeah, it was my husband's turn to, you know, have my daughter this weekend. So, or have our daughter this weekend. And yeah, so my son and I, we've been to the cinema 3 times, and we went to see, because finally they've got some things coming out, you know, which is awesome because we love going to the cinema. And obviously, you know, since COVID, to be honest, there really hasn't been that much, you know, to go and see. So this week we went to see something called Licorice Pizza. I have to say, not really my type of film, bit rubbish, you know, yeah, just not great. I didn't really know anything about what it was going to be about and didn't know what to expect. You know, from that point of view, it was fine. Yeah, just, you know, it was okay. And then we went to see a film called Belfast. Now, this film, Belfast, it was with, oh gosh, what's that chap's name? The one who was in that 50 Shades of Grey. What's his name? Jamie Dornan. He was the main kind of character in it. Oh, he's such a good actor. I've seen him in a few things now. And, you know, he's so versatile. And I have to say, he looked really handsome in this particular film. So, I mean, he's very changeable with his looks, and it just is all obviously dependent on how they've done his hair. But yeah, he was very handsome in this film. So it's called Belfast, and it's obviously about the, you know, well, it's actually about kind of growing up, you know, a little boy kind of growing up in Belfast, you know, during kind of the Troubles. And, you know, oh, it must have been an awful time really for those people growing up there. But yeah, the whole film, I think it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, I think it said, and the whole film was black and white, which I know that sounds a little bit strange, but it was so beautifully filmed. I mean, I said to my son when we left the cinema, you know, wow, I loved how they filmed that, you know, being in black and white. It just, oh, it was really, really, really lovely to watch. The way they'd done it was kind of the opening scene was kind of like going in through Belfast, you know, and it was in, you know, colour. And then they kind of like went over a wall kind of thing, like a garden wall. And as they, you know, peered over the wall, it then went into black and white and went back to, you know, the era of the movie. So, which I think was the 60s or 70s. Now I'm not too sure, and goes to show how I really must pay more attention when I'm watching things. But anyway, yeah, so it just, oh, really, really lovely. I mean, I quite like that when they do sort of slightly different things, you know, when you're watching a film, because it just makes it sort of a bit different, doesn't it, and stand out. So yeah, that filming in black and white, I'm not saying I want to watch everything in black and white, obviously, but you know, for that film, it just really suited it. And I have to say, for that actor, that Jamie Dornan, wow, he looked really handsome in black and white. He really carried it off well. So yeah, he looked very easy on the eye in black and white. So not saying he doesn't in colour, but yeah, he looked really good. So yeah, that was a really good film, and it had such a lovely soundtrack. It had loads of Van Morrison songs in it, and yeah, just really lovely soundtrack. So yeah, I've been kind of you know, playing Van Morrison songs now since then. But yeah, really nice film. And then the other film that we saw, so we saw this other film yesterday, and it was called Nightmare Alley. I have to say, this was hands down the best out of all the 3 films. It was so good. It was quite an all-star cast, but that wasn't why it was good. So who was in it? Oh, Bradley Cooper, which, let's face it, he's very easy on the eye, isn't he? So, yeah, he was in it. Oh, gosh, what's that lady's name? The one who was in Muriel's wedding. Oh, I can never remember her name. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't remember her name anyway. She was in it. And a few other people who, again, I can't remember their names either. So, yeah, pretty rubbish, I'm afraid. But, yeah, it was such a good film. Oh, Kate Blanchett. She was another person who was in it. Wow. It was such a good film. We'd seen the trailer, and funnily enough, my son and I, we both kind of said, oh, that looks really good. You know, well, it's an all-star cast. Not that we could tell you what that's going to be about, because it was a very dark, weird kind of trailer. So, I mean, obviously, with a name like Nightmare Alley, you know it's going to be a kind of dark theme, don't you? But, yeah, we kind of were a bit like, ooh, you know, it looks good, and it is an all-star cast. Let's hope it's going to be good type thing. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Absolutely so good. It was, yeah, obviously great acting and, oh, just lovely. Well, I was going to say lovely costumes, but actually a lot of it was not lovely costumes because it was kind of in like, you know, well, they were like in a circus, but, you know, they were... yeah, like obviously living quite a poor life and things. So, I mean, obviously their costumes weren't lovely. Kate Blanchett, however, she played a character of a psychiatrist, and she was in lovely outfits, you know, for the bulk of the time. So, yeah, she looked amazing in her outfits. So, just for me, just her outfits on their own were like, wow, lovely, you know, lovely, lovely, lovely outfits. So, yeah, that was that. And I don't want to tell you kind of all about it because it really would spoil it. But, wow, just such a great film. Yeah, it was quite a long film. I think it was like 2.5 hours or something. But, oh, we both came out kind of saying, wow, what a brilliant film, you know. Yeah, really, 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 really good. So, yeah. Yes, very, you know, highly recommend that if you're looking for anything to watch at the cinema. I mean, providing that you don't mind, you know, it's obviously not a sort of happy-go-lucky kind of film. Providing you don't mind watching things that are a bit dark, then, yeah, it was really, really worth a watch. So, yeah, that was kind of what we did yesterday. Trying to think really whether there's anything else new really to report. Nothing I can think of. Yeah, I think that's kind of it really. Yeah, might cook a roast dinner tonight. I know that's not particularly interesting, but you know, that's just on my little agenda there is, oh, I might do a roast dinner. Yeah, so okay. Oh, it's been really cold as well. Very, very cold. But I have to say, we've had loads of those really lovely, cold, bright days. Again, just like last weekend, not at the weekend. So we've been filled with the lovely, bright days, you know, all week. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then it comes to the weekend and it's grey as anything. Although I have to say today is very, very grey as well. So, yeah, it's obviously... I presume it's just changing now. So we're just going to have grey stuff going on now. But yeah, it has been full of gorgeous bright days, which I just love. You know, they make you feel so nice, don't they? When you look out and the sun's shining. You know, even when it's freezing, it just is lovely to see the sun like that. So yeah. Right, let's just staple this together. Probably should do all my pads. The reason I'm not really doing that is because, you know, I don't necessarily know what colours are going to go with what, but perhaps I should do it a bit more methodically like this. So, yeah. I'll just put 3 sheets, I think. I mean, I can't believe we're like heading towards February already. It's just flying by, isn't it? You know, time just goes so quickly. So quickly. I mean, my son is going to be doing his GCSEs this year. So it's like a big year for him. And yeah, I have to say this morning, you know, I got back from the gym and he had already gone to school, which, wow. I mean, I phone him from the gym on, you know, that FaceTime Messenger thing to wake him up every day. And I know I've talked about this before. I'm not kidding you. Sometimes I have to phone him. Like the other day, I think I racked up 16 times I'd phoned him. You know, which is pretty irritating, I have to say. And so, you know, we had a bit of a chat about it because I said to him, well, you know, that's not really great when I'm at the gym. You know, it's quite stressy having to like phone you and phone you and phone you quite so many times. It's like, yeah, I know, you know, sorry, mum. But, you know, of course, he's a teenager and, you know, sorry, mum, but it goes like, you know, in one ear, out the other. Anyway, this morning, I FaceTime, you know, messengered him, woke him up. He actually, you know, put his camera on and kind of like smiled and said, you know, love you, mum. Whereas sometimes it just says his camera's off and he just says, I'm up. You know, and that's kind of as much as I get. But yeah, today he actually kind of, you know, yeah, came on with his camera and everything. And then when I got home from the gym, because my daughter obviously was, you know, at her dad's house, so, you know, she wasn't here this morning. And, you know, I'll be picking her up from school today. But yeah, she wasn't here this morning. He'd already gone to school. I mean, that is like unheard of, you know, for him to have actually left the house and gone to school. I couldn't believe it. I came in and I called his name and was like, my goodness, he's actually gone already. I mean, that is just unheard of, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't know what came over him this morning, but wouldn't it be great if he's turned over a new leaf and he's just going to start being like that? I suspect not, but yeah, it was, well, I was shocked. To be honest, that was just my feelings was, oh my goodness, he's actually up and he's gone. Could not believe it. But yeah, he's a good boy. But yeah, he obviously struggles to get up in the morning. You know, I mean, as lots of teenagers do. Oh, I don't believe this. Oh no, there are a couple of staples left in. I thought, well, that's funny because I had checked to make sure I had plenty. But yeah, obviously not as plenty as I thought. Right, okay, I probably will have to, yeah, kind of maybe just do one or two more. So might not get through all of these now. So let's just do that one and that one. Again, just staple this. Like that. Okay, right. Let's just quickly get doing these. Yeah, so anyway, that was the story with him this morning. So yeah, but he will be doing his GCSEs this year. So, you know, I mean, he does need to kind of like, you know, well, start getting to bed you know, not regularly. Obviously he does go to bed regularly, but you know, a bit more on time and things. I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it, for teenagers, because, you know, things are so different as well to when we were kids. I mean, you know, when we were children, it was, you were out most of the time and, you know, we went to kind of youth club. Now, I'm not saying that that was necessarily great because, you know, there were times when we were doing naughty-ish things that we shouldn't have been doing, you know. But, you know, we were very sociable and out. And, yeah, I mean, kids aren't so much like that nowadays. I mean, he goes out sometimes, obviously, with his friends. But, I mean, a lot of the time, you know, people just don't want to do anything because people are so busy, you know, being in on their phones that he'll kind of message people and say, oh, you know, do you want to go out? And they'll be like, no, you know, no, staying in today. So it's, yeah, it's a bit kind of rubbish, really, I think, for youngsters these days. So, you know, I think, therefore, they end up going to bed kind of late because when we were young, you know, you'd have a time that you had to be home, you know, and of course they don't necessarily kind of do that now because they're actually, you know, they are home anyway. It's just that they're actually then on their, you know, on their tablets and all that type of stuff. So yeah, bit kind of different really, I suppose, to when we were young, you know. But it is what it is. And yeah, I mean, I think it's the same for all of these youngsters. I don't think it's just the ones here, you know, in my area. I don't think it's just my boys or anything, but yeah. Okay. Oh, so I'm looking forward to seeing my daughter tonight. Yeah, because she's been there since Friday. So yeah, looking forward to seeing her. So no doubt she will come home full of it, you know, like she does. Oh, I hope she had a nice weekend. I'm sure she did. Okay. There we go. Nothing really planned for the rest of the week, as far as I can think. Well, except knuckling down and doing my accounts, really. So, yeah, my week looks pretty rubbish. Pretty rubbish, if I'm truthful, but oh well. I'll be pleased once I've done them. I mean, the thing is, things are sort of stored in so many places, aren't they? Because, you know, I mean, thankfully, obviously a lot of it is trailable or traceable on email and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, things like, you know, things I've bought, it's maybe receipts, it's emails, it's, you know, Amazon orders, you know, all those kinds of different places now that really have to be checked and, you know, looked for. And then, of course, you've got those orders from places where you maybe have only ordered once. So it's a case of like go through my emails and see if I can find things that, you know, maybe I've forgotten about. And I mean, my dad does keep saying to me, you know, why aren't you doing this every day? You know, just putting things in every day. And, you know, I keep saying to him, well, it's, you know, it's easier said than done. And yes, I should be better. But to be honest, it's just like lack of time, really, which is a bit of a feeble excuse. But, you know, it's true. It is true. You know, as much as it sounds like a feeble excuse, it is actually true. So, yeah. But I don't think he really gets it because, you know, when he was working, I mean, he had his own business, you know, he kind of owned a garage and, you know, he would come home obviously at the, you know, a set time every day, that same time every day. You know, he'd come home obviously to his dinner on the table. I mean, I hope he doesn't stumble across this video and, and hear what I'm saying. But yeah, he would come home to his dinner on the table because, you know, my mum was kind of like, you know, a homemaker really. And, you know, he would then be able to go into his office, you know, when he got home, you know, either after dinner or just before dinner. And, you know, do his, entering his figures into his accounts there and then, you know, and then he was kind of like free then for the rest of the evening. I mean, life's just not like that now because, of course, you know, we're all doing everything. So, you know, yeah, sadly, my dinner's not on the table. And, you know, I don't have a kind of office-y desk thing. I mean, this is my desk, which, wow. I mean, could you imagine a worse place to have, like, your receipts? I mean, wow, talk about get them lost everywhere. So I do have a box that's downstairs that I just chuck all my receipts in, you know, and that's the box that obviously I need to go through. But yeah, it's just not like it was, I think. So, you know, and I try and explain that to him and he just, I think he just thinks I'm making excuses, which maybe I am. But, well, just, yeah, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. And, you know, also, I mean, there were less methods of, like I say, buying things and all of that stuff. So, I mean, everything was, you know, when he was kind of running his business, you know, it would have all been bought in the same way. Where now, like I say, I mean, you might have some things that, you know, you're going to have to look through your emails, some things that are maybe like on, say, your Amazon account, some things, you know, maybe from eBay, you know, all these different places that you're going to have to look up stuff. You know, so it's just not quite how it was, really. You know, and some things are better about that and some things are worse. But it's just different, isn't it? But, yeah, anyway, I will be pleased when it's next week. Well, hopefully I will actually get it done this week. Otherwise, I suspect I will miss the deadline. They have extended the deadline a bit. you know, till the end of February, I think. So you won't get a fine. But yeah, I'd rather try and do it if I can this week, you know, but we will just have to see. You know, and plus obviously he didn't have things like emails and things like that, I guess, you know, in the evening he could literally just sit down and do his, you know, entering his bits for the day. There weren't then kind of emails and things to do as well. So, yeah, let's just use that as my excuse and yeah. There we go. Okay. So I don't know what videos are going to be going up now. You know, now that the art journal series has finished. I have got another series that I have, you know, I've finished filming, but I'm not going to put it up for a little while because I just feel like I've had one series after another, and to be honest, you're probably all a bit sick of, you know, watching a series because, you know, sometimes, I mean, that can zap up an awful lot of time, can't it? So, yeah, I'll probably have just a few randomly videos now for, you know, for a week or two. You know, we'll kind of see how it goes, but yeah. You know, and then, yeah, I've got lots of other things planned. Just can't wait to, you know, get back up here and be able to kind of do it properly. So, yeah. There we go. Like that. Okay, and this one. So, I mean, again, it's a bit annoying when they're not double-sided because you're having to then ink the inside. Again, that's personal choice. I just, like I say, I'm not that keen on the stark white. But, you know, if you don't mind that, then you can skip this whole inking step because, of course, that all just, you know, takes up extra time, doesn't it? So, you know, sort of see how you like to do it. But, hey, good for you if you don't like inking because it's going to save you a whole bunch of time. Okay. Oh, back on the smoothies now. I don't know why, but I'd got out of having them. Well, really, actually, it was over the Christmas holidays. I became a bit sort of rubbish at having them over the Christmas holidays. But yeah, trying to get back into being healthy and, you know, having smoothies again. So, yeah, I've had a smoothie this morning for my breakfast. And, yeah, hopefully I will stick to having smoothies now again. So I think they are, you know, they are good for you. And if nothing else, it's such a nice feeling to think, well, I've had my, you know, 5 a day already. You know, so I don't have to be too worried if my diet's, you know, not great for the rest of the day. Then I don't have to worry too much because I feel like, well, I've had my 5 a day already. So, yeah. Because, well, I haven't had 5, but I've had 4 of them. So, you know, pretty much there. Because I put banana, mango, spinach. I just use frozen spinach. And the mango is also frozen, you know, frozen mango chunks. And cucumber I put in them. So, yeah, they're nice though. They are very nice. And I do put honey in. I mean, because sometimes it can just taste predominantly of cucumber, which is, you know, cucumber's got that fresh kind of taste, but I mean, you don't necessarily want to have it as a drink, do you? So, yeah. Okay. And then I do also put, you know, some, like I buy this vegan protein powder from Amazon. Again, good old Amazon. That I also put like a scoop of that in, or a spoonful of that. Just so I'm getting some protein in there. I've actually run out of that at the moment. So at the moment, I'm just putting like a handful of cashews in. Just so it's got some protein. But yeah, yummy, you know, yummy smoothies. Right, okay, I'm just having a look at the time. Oh my goodness, time's getting away from me. I definitely must have got much slower as a crafter because obviously when I come to do these, you know, now we're doing the reruns, I kind of have to go back and obviously check, you know, how did I do, you know, when I did these last time, or what did I do? And yeah, I think I made 8 in the last one. And I thought then, oh, this is going to be interesting. I wonder how many I will make. Well, so far I've only made 3 complete ones. So yeah, I'm much slower, obviously. Don't know whether I'm chatting more or I don't know. I don't know what's making me slower. Just old age, maybe. I don't know. let's hope it's not that. Because imagine if I did reruns for the 3rd time. Oh, I'd be down to, like, you know, barely making. Not mass making, just barely making. Oh, we barely made 2, you know. Okay. Right, just wondering now which one to use this on. Oh, that one, I've not put the pad in. What a wally. Right, okay. Not that one then. So we've made a couple that we're not obviously now going to finish. Oh, that's quite pretty on there actually, isn't it? So yeah, so for this one, I'm just, to save a bit of time, I'm not going to even put the lace on. I'm just going to put that like that. Okay. Just because I'm like, oh no, must actually try and make 1 or 2 more. But I have got some little rosebuds here, so just take one of those and just put maybe one of those on somewhere. So and just quickly cut that out. What else have I been watching on TV? I'm just thinking, oh, what did we start watching? Oh, we started watching the Dublin murders again, my son and I, and yeah, it's okay, but weirdly, you know, I don't know what happens with some of these things. They just suddenly go off at this weird direction where it's like, what? Have I missed something? You know, they've now brought in all these other characters, and I mean, like I say, I am constantly, you know, guilty of, I'm always, you know, half watching because I'm like on my laptop and doing stuff, or, you know, maybe fussy cutting and doing something, you know, never quite fully concentrating on what I'm watching. So, you know, there is that to obviously take into account. But yeah, I just find more and more that, you know, these programs, they just suddenly seem to change the whole direction of what's going on the program. And then it's like, I've missed something. It's now gone off at a complete, you know, weird tangent. So, yeah, and that seemed to happen with that. So I haven't watched that now for a few days, but we had watched, I think, about 4 of those. I think there were about 8, sorry, about 8 in the whole series. So, I mean, we've got a fair way through, but yeah, kind of just went a bit weird. But I might go back to it, to be honest, because, you know, it's not that much else worth watching at the moment. That one looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay. Right, let's find another closure. Let's see if I've got some ready cut so that I can try and cut down on some time here. So, yeah, let's see what we've got. But like I say, I mean, you don't have to use, of course, you know, printables and things. You know, you could use, you know, stamped images and things. Anything, really, you know, that you fancy using, you could use. I mean, that's quite pretty on there. A bit weird, you know, not what I would have expected to use, but yeah, it looks quite good. Perhaps I will put that one on. Now, do we want some lace on there? I know I said about not using the lace just to cut down on time, but I kind of feel like it would look good on this one. So let's just quickly glue this on. Okay. There we go. Right, might just see while I've got these bits. So before I cut it out and try and glue it on, let's just see what else I've got. So maybe this one on here. Again, might just have this on some lace. And then hopefully I can do at least, you know, a couple at one go. So, okay, like that. Okie dokie. Right, actually I'm going to stop putting that stick pin in because that's all as well eating up time, isn't it? So, oh, that would have looked better on there, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to go for that on there instead. So, yeah. Okie dokie. Right. Okay. Well, at least we can do like a couple, can't we? So Oops, let's cut this one in. Okay. And down there. Yeah, it's going really dark again now, so I haven't looked at the weather today, but I'm thinking it feels like it's about to rain, so wouldn't be surprised if it chucks it down. Right, let's again take that flap. Oops, take that flap up, just, you know, clamping this in place. Looks really pretty, doesn't it? And actually I was just thinking, if I had a pink bow, not that I can see one, but I could have even put a pink bow on there, but yeah, I can't now see one. Yep, no, okay, right, let's put that onto one side. Okay, this one. Yeah, definitely love these ladies, I think, for this one. Okay. There we go. Right, let's just ink this a little bit. And like I say, I mean, I will ink the back as well, because I would tend to probably use this as a, you know, pop in the pocket rather than, you know, a glued on the page. Although this one's a bit bigger, so perhaps I would glue this one down. I mean, I suppose it depends a bit whether you're doing a bigger journal or a smaller one, you know, or, yeah, things like that. But, yeah, generally I probably would use these in a pocket rather than glued down. Okay. Right, let's just pop this one down onto there. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? I really love how that looks. Oops. Okay. Oh, that looks yummy, doesn't it? Really lovely. Okay. Oops, not that bow. Is that brown? Yeah. So I'm just going to put that bow on there, I think, just to finish that off. And they're just my vintage fashion plate printables in the tiny size. And obviously a bow there. Right, this one. Oh, what am I going to put on this? I'm not sure now. Yeah, I'm not sure what to use on this one. Or maybe this big label. Oh, that's over that lady's face. So maybe for this one, I would do something else. I would maybe put like a policy closure or something, you know, a string policy closure, or just a paper clip to hold it in, you know, something like that. So yeah, I will leave that one. Let's move these out the way because they are obviously now cluttering up the desk. And let's just see whether I can do a closure for this one, because, there we go, just this, I think. So got this ticket out. So I mean, the closure really doesn't have to be a very big piece at all. You know, you really could get away with something quite small, because, you know, like this is not very big. And yeah, just put that on there. Oops, like that. Okay. Like that. And then, again, maybe put some lace kind of just running across. I'll just trim that down. Maybe, yeah. So again, just pop that across the top. So sorry, I know this is now run over, you know, over an hour. So yeah, I do apologise. Okay, and this one. Just trim it down at the back. Oops. And the other thing that actually I said you could use as closures, which we didn't end up using, was like a butterfly. So, you know, of course, butterflies are, you know, great for using as closures. And you could just kind of like put one of their wings down. So let me just see whether I've got a butterfly that we can just, you know, just do one. Oh my goodness, look at that lace. How terrible have I done that? Let's just try and trim that down. Okay. Well, not great, I have to say. Still looking pretty rubbish, but never mind. So that's that one. Let's just see whether I've got a butterfly that I could try and just demonstrate just one. So for instance, this here. Yeah, possibly this one. Let's just take this butterfly here. Let's just check. Oh, that one might be better. Oops. Okay. Like that. So, I mean, you could have it like a closure like the others, you know, you could kind of like have it and then it tucks under those two wings. Or, of course, you could just have it like that over to the side. Like this. Oops. Like that. And then it's just literally tucked in behind that one wing in there. Oops. Just got a little bit of glue stuck on there. So that's another kind of closure mechanism there. So yeah, I mean, I think you can use a whole different, you know, variety of things, but just find, you know, whatever works. And like I say, you could always put a policy closure envelope style closure or something like that if you fancied as well. You know, you really could kind of, yeah, go to town and kind of do whatever you fancied. So let's see how many that we ended up doing. Ugh, sadly, not as many as I'd have liked, I think, but let's see. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay! 8. I just really kind of wanted to do 8 because I thought, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do as many as I used to? So we have done 8, and the good news is I also had cut down a few others, so I've got these ones ready to go. Actually, I've got quite a few actually. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I was obviously a bit ambitious thinking that I was going to do all these, but yeah, I've also got these ones left to do. So yeah, I don't think we did too badly after all. So I hope that you like them, and yeah, have fun if you decide to make some. And thank you for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.